Hello guys, Alan here and welcome to part 6 of the complete working drawing series here on YouTube. So this video is just going to be about how we are going to be doing our door and window shadow today. So we are going to work on our door and window shadow for this particular episode. I think in our previous episode we kind of like modeled out, we did a little bit of work in our sections where we had to make our footings, our foundation show up in the sections. So we had to do a lot of line works in there by showing our ceiling hangers and ceiling noggins as well. And we had to even label all these parts over here as well. So we labeled all these parts in here in our previous episode, which is the part 5. And we also worked on our section BB and also on the roof plan as well. So today we are going to be talking about how we are going to do our door and window shadow, which is also a very important part in the complete working drawing series. So without wasting much time, I'm going to get started. Now, before I get started, let me just cancel this out of the way. Let me just remove this out of the ribbon over there. Let me head straight into the ground floor, and now let me take this off. So I want to start off with the door and window shadow. So I want to see the total quantity door type that we have in there. I think this is door 6. So I think this should be the highest type of family door we have in there. Let me get into the first floor plan. Let me see what we have in there. Do we have any door? Okay, we have door 10 in here. So I think we have 10 doors. Wow, that's a lot of doors we created for this model right here. So yes, so I think we are going to be using 10 doors for this. So let me get back into ground floor plan and let me just click on this door right there and just head straight into edit type. Now when you head straight into the edit type, what I want you to do is I want you to label this as, make sure you label this as also door 1 at the rename side. All right, you just click on the rename in your type properties, just rename it to door 1 and just click on OK in there, and make sure you find door 2 and also do the same thing. So this is door 2 right there. I'll just go into edit type, duplicate. I'm going to clean all that name and name this door 2. Now you're going to see why this is going to come in very handy. All right, if we don't do this, I think we are going to be wasting much time trying to create our door and window shadow, which is not productive. I want you guys to be able to be very fast and effective using the REVIT software. So we are going to be doing all those changes. So we've made a change in door 2. We've renamed our door 2. Let me just find door 3, head straight into edit type, duplicate. Nope, I'm not duplicating, I'm renaming. So this is going to be called door 3 and we just click on OK. We change that. And let me just check out where door 4 is. Where's door 4? There we go. So just click on that, head into edit type. You're going to have the type properties panel. Just clean everything in there and then just name this door 4. Click on OK. So we have our door 4 in there. And also we need our door 5 as well. This is door 5 right here. So we just click on that, head into edit type, rename, clean everything in there, and then just name this door 5. All right. So you can see in our type map property we have this as door 5. That is how come we are able to get this tag in there. All right, so we have our door 5 in there. Door 6 is to follow, edit type. So you guys, I think you guys really get the concept of what I'm doing now. We're just renaming all those to exactly the door tag type they have. All right, so we've had our door 6. Now we need door 7 to actually head on. Let's find our door 7. I think it will be on the first floor. Let's head on the first floor. Door 7, where are you? There you are. So edit type, rename, and then we just call this door 7 and we hit on OK. There, and we need to find our door 8. I think I saw door 8 just here. All right, door 8 is in the steady area and we just need to rename that door 8 as well. Hit on OK and hit on OK in there as well. And door 9, where are you? There you are. So edit type, rename, and we just call this our door 9 and OK, and finally OK, and finally our door 10, which is in the balcony area. We just need to click on that, head straight into edit type, rename, and then we call this door 10. All right, so we need to actually perform this same exercise for our windows as well. Let's try and rename our windows. Let's give them all that. Let's also give them the tag they have. as a name. It's taking quite some time to load up. Let me just click on that to confirm if it really has made that change. All right, it's .10, so perfect. So we need to do the same exercise for our window as well. Let me head straight to the ground floor plan. Let me find window 1. Where are you? Okay, there you are. So window 1, the same thing. We're just going to call this W1 just as the tag we've given it. So window 1, we need to find our window 2 as well. Just click on that, head straight into the edit type, rename, and then we just call this window 2. And okay, hit an okay also as well over here. We need to find window 3, edit type, and rename, and we just call this window 3. All right, okay, and there we are. So we need to find window 4 as well. I think that's what we used for the washroom areas, and we just clean all that, and then we just name this window 4 and hit on OK in here. And now we need to find our window 5 in our design. Head straight into the first floor. Okay, this is our window 5 right there, and let's just click on that window, and we need to rename this as window 5. There we go. Okay as well, and we need to head straight into this as well. Find window 6, edit type, and rename, and then we just call this our window 6 finally. So we are done with this exercise, and we are now going to head straight onto creating our door and window schedule. Now let me head straight into any of the sections as well. Let me leave that, let me do that, and let me do that some other time. Now we need to start off with creating our door and window schedule. So now what I've noticed most people do is that most people usually go into the drafting view in the REVIT software, and that's where they actually draft out all the door and windows they have in their design, which is also not bad. You can actually go into the view tab, and then when you head straight into the view tab, you just find your drafting view. And when you find your drafting view, now the scale we usually draw our door and window shadows on is actually 1 in 25 or 1 in 20. That is the scale we usually draw our door and window shadows in. So you can actually draw it in 1 in 25 or 1 in 20. So I'm going to make my 1 in 25, and then you head straight into edit type. So we've currently gotten into the drafting view in REVIT. So in this view, it's actually going to be like everything you actually experience in an AutoCAD software. All right, this view is actually everything you experience here. So nothing really works in here apart from detail lines. So you just have kind of like draw out every single thing you want to draw. So let's say you want to draw the door, you just have to come in here, then you just draw that door in there. So you just have to make sure you head into your elevations or sections to actually see what kind of door is that. So this window, you just have to picture everything here and actually draw the same thing in the drafting view as your window 1, as your window 3 actually. But this is quite a very tedious process, and it's going to waste your time. Trust me guys, you don't want to go through that process. So I'm going to delete my drafting view out of there. I'm just going to delete that view out of there. I'm going to delete that out of the way. So there's actually a very simple way we can actually create this door and window shadows without going through any wahala or any stress. All right, so we're going to be doing that now, and I want you guys to pay attention. Now we'll actually be creating it in the legends tab. All right, so we can head straight into the legend. With the legends tab, you can actually place a double of this view on a sheet. So we are not going to really use this for now, so let me just cancel this out of the way. Now what you want to do now is you would want to head straight into the components tab. All right, so let's just click on our legend. Let's just create a new legend. Let's create a new legend, and let's make sure it's in the scale. We can use 1 in 150 or 1 in 125 or 120. all right, now when you reduce that, the scale right there, it means that your drawing gets much bigger. All right, so let's just use 1 in 25 for the purpose of this video. So we've created our legend. We have 2 legend views. Okay, let me just delete one in there, and let me just use this one. All right, so we are currently in our legend view right now. So what you want to do now is head straight into the annotate tab. Make sure you're in the annotate tab, guys. Make sure you click on this annotate tab right there, and you head straight into components. All right, do not click on the component icon right there. Just make sure you click on that drop down menu right there, and then you're going to have legend component. All right, so just click on that, and when you click on that, down on this ribbon right here, we have the family here, we have the family types here down on this ribbon. So you can just click on this drop down menu, and we are going to search for our door 1. We are going to search. You see that's door 3 right there. It's very important we change it to door 3. It would have been having the same name as these other figures, just as these other figures, and we would now have to cancel everything and go into the floor plan to actually see what it really is. All right, I'm just going to escape that out of the way. Make sure I click on this, and make sure you find door 1. I'm going to delete that out of there. Make sure you find door 1. Let's look for door 1 in our design. Let's actually find door 1. This is door 3, door 5, door 2, and this is our door 1. So we want to place it in the front elevation. We want to place that on the front elevation. So we have that door in there, and let me just delete this out of the way. So we have our door 1 in there, and you have to make sure you arrange them in order. All right, so we're gonna have, I'm going to create like 5 doors in here and also 5 doors beneath. So just head straight into the component tab, click on that drop down menu, and then you click on the legend over there. And then let's make sure we find our door 2. Make sure it's in the front elevation. So we have our door 2 in there, and we can just click this in there. And now let's find door 3. Let's find door 3. Let's find door 3 in there. There you go. So we have our door 3 in there as well. We can just click this right here. Let's give you some space, and let's click this right there. So you can just head back, find door 4. Door 4 is actually here, front elevation. Make sure you're always in the front elevation. All right, and we can just finally find door 5. Where's our door 5? There you are. So we have our door 5 in there. I think I really used a lot of families for this door, a lot of family doors for this design. So I'm just going to shift all this. Let me just kind of like bring them closer together. Perfect. So I'm going to find my door 6. I'm going to arrange all of them up together. Door 6, make sure you're in the front elevation, and make sure it's kind of like centered right beneath the door 1. We can put this in here. Perfect. And there we go. So we can find door 7. Let's find door 7 in there. So this is what I use for the master bedroom, the bathroom for the master bedroom. So just get back in there. So we have door 7. We're going straight into door 8, and we can place this in here as well. We have door 8 in there, door 9. So we're just getting our elevations for our door. We have door 9, and finally door 10. All right, so there you are. So that was for the balcony area over there. You can just click on this. Let's kind of like move this up a little bit. Let me move this also close up. Perfect. And let me move this also. Let me just bring this down a little bit. Perfect. Let me raise this up a little bit and move it closer to that. All right, so we have our doors in there. Let me just shift this up. So we have our doors in there in our design. And what we want to do is, I've seen most people usually place in the plan of the doors actually right on top of it. So it's not quite a bad practice. You can equally place looking at it on plan. All right, you can equally place that right on top of the doors, so the person can have a perspective of what it looks like also on plan. So we can actually find door 1. Let's look for door 1, but I'm not going to be doing that in the purpose of this video. Then you just come into the view in here, and you can change that to plan. So you can just place that right on top of it, that this is what this door looks like on plan. So you can do that for all of these doors right here, but I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to be using my elevation for the purpose of this video, which I don't want to go through a lot of work actually, but it's quite a good process if you actually show whatever they look like on plan. So we are going to draw out, we are going to create a box. We're going to create some sort of like a box like form for all of these doors right in here. We're going to create that box in there, and let's bring this up a little bit. So I'm going to select all of this, and I'm going to move this inside there. Perfect. So let me just select everything in there. I think it's quite centered, which is also perfect. So DL on my keyboard, and I'm going to divide all of this up. I'm going to actually divide all of this up, bring this down a little bit. Let me just bring this here because this door is not too big. Okay, let me just open it up. Let me click on that and make sure this is about 3 meters. There's not quite a standard dimension for the spacing, all right? It's at your discretion, so you can actually look at it, and whatever you feel is going to be quite spacious for you to write in there, you can actually do that. So DL on my keyboard again, and I'm going to draw this to come in here. And also let me just center this door right in this space right there. So this is perfect. We have this in there, which is also perfect. It's quite centered. Let me just move this up to the right a little bit. Perfect. And let me do the same thing for this door as well. So I can just click on that and just move this in there, which is also perfect. So let's just do the same thing for these doors we have in there, the next set of doors we have in here. And let's just click on that, and let's just select this, and also select this as well, and then also select this as well, and also draw this line in there as well. So this is also perfect. Let me just kind of like center this in that space right there, and let me just click on this and also move this also to that space right there, and let me just move this in there as well. Let me just move this in there as well, which is also perfect. Also select this and move this also quite in the center, which is also perfect. Now I'm going to quickly draw that. Let me kind of move this in there. Okay, so we have enough space for that door right there. Okay, so this is also perfect. So DL on my keyboard, and what you want to do now is you want to divide the spaces. You're going to find out why I'm actually dividing these spaces. So leaving us an offset of about 400. Make sure that the space you leave for the other side is the same thing you leave for the other side as well. So leaving a space of 400 is cool. I'm going to drag that later, and I'm going to do the same thing for this portion as well, and also pull this in there, and also do the same thing for this piece as well, and also drag this also to this piece as well, and also drag this 400. Let me just correct this. Just hold down that dot and pull that down there, and you're going to want to divide this in each and every space. I want you guys to pay attention to what I'm doing in here. We are actually creating our door and window shadow right now, so we just kind of like divide this in each and every space. Now let's do the same 400. Let's do the same 400 we did for the other side. Let's do the same 400 in there. So I hope you guys get the concept of everything I'm doing right now. I'm just leaving about 400, and then I'll just divide that by picking the midpoint of that. Bring about 400 is perfect. Leave that in there, and also pull about 400 in there. And finally my last 400. Where are you? Perfect. So we have that in there as well, and we can just pull this down, pull this to also touch this, and also pull this to touch with this, and also pull this to touch with the other point in there. So we are now going to label everything in our space right there. So I want us to do the same kind of legend for the windows. So we are going to do the same kind of legend for also this window as well for the windows. So let's just create that for the window. So let's just duplicate, head straight into the legends tab, and let's create a new legend 25. I want to rename that, so I'm going to call this my door shadow. All right, so just call this your door shadow, and we can equally call this also our window shadow as well. So just rename this as your window shadow, and you have that window shadow in there. So we can equally call this also our window shadow as well. So just rename this as our window shadow as well. So just rename this as our window shadow, and you have that window shadow in there. So just rename this as your window shadow as well. So just rename this as your window shadow, and you have that window shadow in there. So just rename this as your window shadow, and you have that window shadow in there. So just rename this as your window shadow, and you have that window shadow in there. So just rename this as your window shadow, and you have that window shadow in there. So just rename this as your window shadow, and you have that window shadow in there. So just rename this as your window shadow, and you have that window shadow in there. So just rename this as your window shadow, and you have that window shadow in there. So just rename this as your window shadow, and you have that window shadow in there. So just rename this as your window shadow, and you have that window shadow in there. So just rename this as your window shadow, and you have that window shadow in there. So just rename this as we are going to do the same thing for our windows, the same method. So we just head straight into the annotate tab. We kind of like go into our components. Since we already use the legend component, it's by default going to be there, so we can click on that. And now let's go straight and find our windows. All right, just head straight into the W tabs, and we need to find window 1. There you are. So what was the total quantity of windows we had in the 6? So I'm going to do it about 3 on 1 on top and 1 down. So let me head straight into there, and let me head back in here, and also right here. So let me just find window 2, which is this. No, that's not window 2 right there. That's not window 2. Let's find window 2. This is window 2 right there. So we always make sure we place in the front elevations. All right, so let's find window 3 also in that space as well. Let's find window 3. Where's our window 3? Right there. And we can drop this also in here as well. And now let's find our window 4. Window 4. There you are. So we can place this also down in here. And now let's just click on that, and let's find our window 5 in that space right there. Window 5 is just here. And now window 6, we can just find our window 6 and front elevation, and also place that in there as well. So we have our windows in there also perfectly placed in there. So we are going to do the same kind of procedure for our doors. Just a box, just draw something like a box like form in there. All right, just draw something like a box. Let me raise that line up a little bit. So with the window also as well, you can actually place in the plan on top. All right, so the person or anyone reading the drawings can actually see what that window looks like on plan. All right, can actually see what it looks like on plan. So let's just draw out the section as well. Let's just bring this also in here. Let me make sure it aligns with that line right there, which is perfect. And let me bring this window down a little bit. Down. It's too down. Okay, let me move all this also down. And let me just move this also quite to the center. Let me move this also quite a little bit to the center right there. It's perfect. Let me move this line down. So the same exercise we performed, we are going to be doing the same exercise for all of the window as well. Just going to divide this in there, make sure it's very spacious. Let me just move this to about the center, and also move this to about the center, which is quite perfect. And DL on my keyboard again, and divide this, divide also this as well, and move this to about the center. All right, this is perfect. So DL on my keyboard again, and I'm gonna want to place this line in there, and I can drag this down a little bit just to rename my spaces. So DL again on my keyboard, and what's that space right there? Let me just leave the same 400 in there. 400, and leave the same 400. 400 in there as well. So let me bring it down a little bit. So 400, 400. And I think it's gonna pick with that 400. This is perfect. So we currently have all these our 400s in each and every space right there, which is quite perfect. So we can now divide all those spaces right there. Now we just make sure we divide it this way. Just divide it this way, from the middle to that middle right there, and from the middle to this middle, and also to this middle right there, and also to this middle right there. So we have our door and window shadow. So we head straight into our door shadow, and we would want to now place in some type inscriptions in there. Let me just see what this looks like. This is too small. Okay, I'm going to use this right here. So in here I'm going to write description in here you'd want to write description in there. Make sure you put a semicolon. So we have our description in there, and we can just create similar, and then we can put in here location. All right, just write the location in there, and we can copy this, and we can just make sure we've multi selected all of them. Copy, make sure multi is checked, and we can move this from this point right there, and we can place this in each and every corner right there. So make sure you place that in each and every corner right there. And you also have this in here as well, and you can place this also in here, place this here, and also place this here, and also place this here as well, and finally place this here, which is perfect. So we can do the same thing, just control to select, control C on your keyboard, and you can actually do the same thing. So I'm going to select all of that, and I'm going to move. All right, I'm just going to move this to about this, so you can actually place this in each and every. I'm going to move this up a little bit, and perfect. So we can just hold on the control key to multi-select, and we can equally do the same thing by placing everything in each and every space right there. We can place this here, and also place this here, and place this here as well, and also place this here as well. So let's just bring this down a little bit, and make sure you bring this down, and also make sure you bring this down. It doesn't have to conflict with that line right there, so just bring it down a little bit. Okay, this is perfect. So now let's get back into our door shadow. So now what we are going to do next is we are going to find our inscriptions. Let me just use 5. Let me just create a duplicate. I'm going to call that text 1. I'm going to call that text 1, and I'm going to want this to be about, okay, let me leave it at 5 Arial. Let me just check the area. Okay, I'm going to use Arial black. I'm going to create bold, hit on apply, hit on OK, and here we are going to call this so we are going to call this type TYPE. It's actually not fitting in that space, so what we can do is we can actually reduce the text. Let's make this about 3. Let's hit on apply, and let's see what happens. So it fits now. Let's just move this up a little bit. Let's move this up. Let's kind of center it at the top right there. It's perfect. So we can create similar, and we can actually write in here QTY, which stands for quantity. So we'll get the quantities of those doors right on the plan. So we can just select this and also select this, and we can just copy and place that in each and every space we have in there. Let's just copy this. So we have this type is going to come in here, the quantity is coming in here. For this door we have to put the type in there, and this door we have to put this type, and this door is type. So I hope you guys get what I'm doing now. You can drop a comment in the comment section if you have anything to add to our door and window shadow tutorial here, which is quite simple. So we've placed all those types in there. Now let's just get the quantities as well. So with the quantities we can just select that and also place this in here. Do that for this portion, that for this portion, and that for this portion, and also that for this portion, and this portion, and this portion, this portion as well, and also for this portion. Perfect. So we have that in there, and we would want to create our type. So this is window 1. Nope, this is door 1 we have in there. So this is door 1. You can move that door 1. The same thing we want to do, we want to copy that to each and every type, where we are going to change the name of that. All right, so we have door 1. I'm going to change the name, so don't worry guys, I know that's not really door 1 actually. So I'm going to change the name for all those door types. So I'm placing this in here, and this finally comes in here. So I'm going to change this to door 2. I know this is door 2, I know this is door 3, I know this is door 3, and I know this is also door 4 right in there, and this is finally door 5. This is finally door 5 we have in there. And also let's just get this, let's get this also changed door 6, and also this is going to be door 7 as well, and door 8 we have it in there, and door 9, and finally our door 10, we have that in there as well, door 10. So we have door 10 in there. Now with our quantities, we would have to find our quantities right on plan. All right, so with the door 1, I think the quantity is just 1. We just use that for the main entrance. So I'm going to head straight back in there, and I'm going to place the quantity of that door right there, which is 1. That's the quantity for that door. So we can actually select this and multi place them in each and every quantity, which we are going to equally going to change when we finally get the quantities. All right, so we can actually change all that by, we'll change all that, so we can place that in each and every space right there. So we have that in each and every space right there. So now let's head straight into door 2. Let's head straight into door 2. Let's find out the quantity of door 2. I think door 2 is also 1, which is quite perfect. Door 2 is also 1. Yeah, door 2 is also 1, so we are going to leave that 1 in there. And door 3 is where my problem is going to be now. So I can equally select this, and let me just head straight into all instances visible in view. And I think I have just, let me just reselect that again. Let me select all instances in the entire project. So I have just 1 in here, and first floor 2, 3. All right, so dot 3 is actually 3, so let me just change that to 3. So we have 3 for door 3, and let's go back into door 4. Let's find out what door 4 actually has for us. So just select that, right click, and go to select all instances in the entire project. So we have 1 in here, 2, 3, and let's head into first floor 4. All right, so we have 4 in there. So we know our door 4 is also 4. Wow, so we had door 1 as 1. It's only door 2 we had as 1. Door 3 we had 3. Door 4 we had 4. I hope door 5 we get 5 as well. So let me head straight into ground floor plan. Let me just find door 5, multi-select, right click in entire project. So we have 1, and we don't have any here. Okay, so door 5 has actually spoiled our records. We have to give that 1. It's actually just 1. So we have door 5 as 1. All right, 0, 1. We have door 5 as 1. And also we need to find our door 6. So head straight into ground floor. This door 6 right there, right click, select all instances in the entire project. So we have 1, and let me see what we have. So it's just 1. So back in here, door 6 we have it to be 1. Door 7, I think door 7 is also 1, because I only used it for the master bedroom. And door 8, so let me get back into first floor. Let me find door 8. I think door 8 is also just 1. Select all instances in the entire project. 1, we have 1 in there. We don't have any selected in here as well. So door 8 is also 1. We leave it as it is. And door 9, finally guys, I thought we were going to take the whole day to actually find all the quantities. So door 9, we have door 9, where are you? On the first floor. Door 9, yeah, door 9 is also 1, and door 10 is also 1. Yes, door 10 is also 1. So we've actually created all that in there. So I'm going to head straight in here. Let me just find that text and just duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate this and just change the color. Let me make that black. I'm going to change that and make that black. That's all. So with the location, you can write as indicated on plan. All right, as indicated on plan is the location. You can actually put that there, or you can actually write on ground floor, put the exact location in there. But what we usually do is we just write as indicated on plan, and we do that for each and every single door. So each and every single door. So you can just copy and place that on each and every single door you have in there. You can place that on each and every single door you have in there. So we have that in there. Now with the description, we need to give the exact description with the materials of each and every door we have in there. So with this door, with this main entrance door, I'm just going to be giving rough names. So I'm going to call this an aluminium let me just call this aluminium. Let me see what I have in here. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna call this an aluminium security. I'm gonna call this an aluminium security. Let me just give it an aluminium security panel door. So panels, let me just call it panel swing door. So we place that in there. So with our door 2, we can call this a double sliding. Make sure you always have the material glass door. All right, double sliding glass door. With this, we can call this wooden panel door. We can call this actually our wooden panel door, and we can also call this wooden glazed panel door. Put that in there, and we can call this an aluminium let's just call it an aluminium framed door, which is perfect. So now let's just call this also the wooden glazed door. It's a wooden glazed door, but with a different height, I think. And let's just call this a single slide head glass door in there. Make sure you save your project, guys. Control S. I've said in previous episodes that it's a bad habit if you actually don't save. So Control S to save that. CW. I'm going to copy the same type. This same door description for this. And with this also, I'm going to call this a glazed sliding pocket door. And also we can actually do this. This is going to be a 4. So we are actually done with our door tags in here. So you can just write in here elevation, all right, what it looks like, but it's not really relevant. So what you can also do is you have to make sure you also dimension the doors. You can just dimension those doors right there. I'm just going to use my PP, my personal one, and you can just dimension those doors. You can pick it from here, you can just make sure you dimension all those doors. All right, you can just dimension them, just give them dimensions. All right, make sure you dimension every single door in there. You can pull this here and just pull this in there, and make sure you just dimension every single thing in there. Let's just get this to the head, and let's do this for this as well. And also what I've seen most people do is they actually show the dimension like from the level to the top of the head. All right, from the level above to the top of the head, which is quite a very good practice if you can actually get the time to do that. So it's actually a very good practice. So make sure your dimensions are aligned perfectly in there. My dimensions look very small. I'm going to change all of them. Just select all instances visible in view, and I'm going to change them to this. Okay, I think this is quite perfect. Let me just delete this one. So make sure you just dimension. One thing you have to do is you make sure you dimension all of the doors. All right, you dimension all of them. Make sure you show the width and the length of all those dimensions. Nope, this is not the dimension I've been using. Delete. Let me just use the arc 2.5 mm. 8 on tab actually together. Let me just use that, so I can get in here and also move this up there and make sure it's aligned with that, and also move this also. I can bring this in here and get this. Okay, let me just get that. I can select this and also select that and move this also in there and make sure it's in there as well. Also select this and also move this also up there, and just do the same thing for this also as well, which is perfect. So we've labeled everything on our door and window tags. We can drag this down to actually align with all those dimensions. All right, which is quite a good practice. So it's aligned, and we now have to get straight into our windows. We need to perform the same exercise in there for our windows. All right, so I can just Control C, and let me just paste this in there. Let me paste this here. So I know my quantity is going to go in here. I know quantity is going to go in here, and I know this is also going to come in here, and also DE, and also I know my type mark also coming in here, and I can just drag this down a little bit, and I can move this also to come in here as well, which is perfect. So we have this also in here, which is perfect. So I'm going to change this to window 1 and just move this up a little bit and just hit on the copy tab, and I'm going to copy this and place it on each and every space. So I know I have 6 type of windows in there. So just copy this, place this in there. So this is my window 6, window 5, and window 4, no, window 3, window 4. We have window 4 in there, and window 3 also comes in here. Window 2 also comes in here, which is perfect. With our type and quantity, I think we need to do the same thing. So just hit on the copy tab and just copy that to each and every type. So copying that to each and every type, we are coming to a finale on our complete working drawing series. It has been an amazing journey, guys, trust me. So what was this? Let's just delete this window 2 out of the way. I don't know where this is coming from. Okay, so window 4, 5, 6, type quantity. So we need our quantity to also get into the other side, get onto the other side. We need them on the other side as well. Place this in there. Make sure you place them at the corners, right? And we can equally copy all this also to each and every space. We can copy this also to each and every single space. So we have this, then you can come in here, you also come in here, and you can also come in here. Okay, so now let's try and get our quantities. So let's start with our window 1. Okay, so let me head into the door shadow, copy, and place. Let me place this as indicated on plan as our location, and let me just quickly copy this onto each and every space right there. So I can copy this in here, and also copy this in here, and copy this also in here, and also copy this in here as well. And description, will come to that later. So let's just get onto our ground floor plan. Let's quickly start. Let's kind of get the quantities for every single thing in there. So select all instances in the entire project. I see only 1 selected. Let me head into the first floor. So we have 1 for window 1. We are perfect. Let's head into window 2. Let's see what we have. window 2, window 2, window 2. Where are you? So there you are. So let's just select you and let's find in the entire project. So we have one here, two. Let's head into first floor. It's gone. So I know we have 2 on the ground floor. So select all instances and 3 on. So we just have 1 here making 3. So we are going to change that for window 2. We are going to give you 3 right there. So not 13, 3. Okay, so why do we have 2 double window 2s? Okay, so perfect. So now let's find out for window 3. Let's find out what window 3 has for us. Select all instances in the entire project. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, first floor, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I know we have 13 windows for that window 3 right there, which is quite a lot of windows right in there. We need a place to be as airy as we can. All right, so let's get into window 4. Let's see what window 4 has for us. It's just the WC windows. So select all instances in the entire project. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3. Let's head. We have 4, we have 5, we have 6 in there. So let's just give this our 6. Let's just give you a 6, not 16. 6. So window 5. Let's see what window 5 has for us. Get into the ground floor. Window 5 I think is just 1, window 6 just 1. Yeah, those are the only windows I placed for that. So with the description, let's just call this let me see what I can get for this window, what kind of name I'm going to use for this my window right there. Okay, so I'm going to call this my aluminium. Let me just use the aluminium. I'm going to call this an aluminium framed I'm going to call this an aluminium framed window, and also I'm going to call this, we can actually see the name type in there. All right, so this is a triple, so I'm going to call this aluminium triple casement window. All right, so Revit actually gives you the name of the family. So triple wooden, you can call this wooden casement window. Now all these things are actually not going to be relevant at the end of the day, because the client is actually going to decide. So let me just call this a single flash window, single pocket window, because the client is actually going to change all these windows. They are going to use their discretion to whatever kind of windows they have. So they are not necessarily going to use the exact windows I have in my design. All right, they can change that on site. All right, so they'll just change and prefer to use some kind of like windows they've seen somewhere or somewhere, wherever they need. So we are going to call this a single flash window. Single flash window is in here. Perfect. And we can just click on that. Let me see the name in the okay, standard. Yeah. Okay, so we are just going to call this a wooden airing window, and also we can call this an aluminium single flash window. So perfect. So we have our door window shadow created. So we have everything in here for our window shadow, and we also have everything in there for our door shadow. So one more thing, guys, make sure you dimension, don't forget, make sure you dimension the windows in there. It's very, very important. Make sure you dimension the windows. Should just show the length and then the width of all those windows. All right, it's going to help the contractors or anyone reading the plan out to actually really get to know the size of the window. Now you notice I'm not picking on the right end, I'm picking in the centers because I'm just rushing throughout this video. So just going to pick that. It's not selecting, I'm going to pick it anywhere. Okay, so we can do the same thing for this and send it up there, or we can send it, let's just send it up there, and we can move this line also up a little bit so it doesn't conflict, which is perfect. And make sure you dimension this portion as well. It's very important. So I used 800, I think by 800 as well. And let's just do this, and move this up, and do this, and also do this, and just bring it this way. Just make sure we are just getting the length, the height, and then the width as well. Alright, it's very, very important. So we can move this to the center probably a little, and center it down in there. So it's perfect. So we've created that dimension for our windows. So we are going to end in this video, and we are going to continue in our very final video in part 7, where we are going to have the final of everything. We are going to be completing our working drawing series actually. So in our next video is just going to be our final video on how we can actually print everything out and arrange everything on a sheet. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any comments or any suggestions you want to add, make sure you drop it in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be bringing out more tutorials like this. I'll catch you guys in part 7 of the complete working drawing series. Peace out. I'm still working real hard on a Saturday. A future I don't see from a mile away.